But for me, spirituality has nothing to do with religion. You don't even have to say it is God. For me, spirituality, I define it in a way that makes sense to me, and that is to have a performance assessment of my ego. There's a higher self that assesses how my ego has worked every day.
Namaste. You're listening to the Savannah Podcast. Join us on an exploration of Eastern spirituality, yoga philosophy, and conscious living for the new age. This podcast is a production of SavannahSpirit.com, the best place to shop for unique clothing, spiritual handcrafted jewelry, healing gemstones, and fair trade gifts from the Far East. Now, here's your host, Brett Larkin.
Hello, Savannah family. Welcome back to the show. I don't want to delay any time today getting right into it because we have such a juicy episode in store. We are talking to Akshata Shilvant. I've had her on the show a couple times. She's an Ayurvedic yoga lifestyle consultant, and her passion is to help women balance lifestyle disorders with Ayurveda and yoga lifestyles. And she specializes in crafting food medicine for hormone balance, thyroid health, digestive issues, blood sugar management, and so many other things. But today we're diving into a couple topics that I don't usually talk about with Akshata. We're talking about the koshas, the chakras, and how to really live a yogic lifestyle according to the Vedas. So if you're like me, you may have wondered in the past, well, how do the koshas relate or correspond to the chakra system according to the Vedas? How do we actually balance the 5 koshas? What can we do beyond physical yoga postures and meditation to actually really live a yogic lifestyle? What do the Vedic scriptures advise? So if you've wondered about any of these things, because I know I have, you're really going to enjoy today's conversation. And I want to warn you right up front that we dive into some really complicated concepts. So if you have a little bit of trouble following along at times, don't worry. The more you study the chakras, the koshas, and all of these things, it starts to make more and more sense over time. I consider myself a perpetual student of all of this really deep knowledge that we're going to share today, talking about the astral body and the causal body. So I'm super excited to dive into it. Before we do, let's go over how you can support the show. So I remind you every week, but I just want to let you know that this show couldn't happen. It wouldn't be in existence without SavannahSpirit.com, which is really the most beautiful, beautiful website where you can get yoga clothing, jewelry, gifts, healing energy crystals. This week, I really wanted to highlight their spirituality and serenity gemstone mini set. It's just really beautiful purple and turquoise bracelet. So beautiful. And there's really so many incredible things you can explore on their website. They have chakra gemstones and bracelets, gorgeous jewelry. So treat yourself to something or get something as a gift and use that coupon code TAKE25 for $25 off anything in your shopping cart if you're a new Savannah customer. And also take a moment at some point, whether it's right now or later, to leave a review. Leaving a review here on iTunes, even if iTunes isn't how you normally listen to the show, really helps get all this deep yogic wisdom, like what Akshata is going to share with us today, in front of more people who are craving this information, who want to transform their life through yoga and meditation, just like you. So without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Hi, Akshata. How are you? Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Brett. I'm so glad to be here again.
So you wanted to share with us some tips on how to live a yogic lifestyle and what a yogic lifestyle really means, especially from the Ayurvedic perspective. So what does that really mean to you? It's like we do yoga on our mat, but then what is living a yogic lifestyle like beyond just working out on the mat or meditating on a cushion? How does that translate for you, or what does that look like in your life?
Wow, that's a very profound question, Brett. Starting off with this very first question, it'll take some time for me to explain. Yeah, yogic lifestyle is, yes, about practicing asanas every day, doing it with a very disciplined mind, doing it diligently, and then maybe doing pranayama, meditation at the end or in the beginning. We also do a lot of breath work and chanting. Chanting is also caught up pretty good in the US. I learned yoga, classical Hatha yoga, from my teacher, Yoga Rishi Vishwaketu, who is a master, a Himalayan master who teaches Ayurveda and yoga in Rishikesh. So he starts his yoga practice with a period of meditation and chanting, and also ends it with a short period of meditation and chanting. So yeah, this is a component that encompasses yogic lifestyle. But I think yogic lifestyle is much more than this. This is just a small facet, an important one, but still a facet of the whole lifestyle. So if you look into Vedanta, again, because that's where yoga came into being, it's the ancient scriptures from India. Vedanta talks about what is yogic lifestyle. And what it is basically, it first gives the purpose why you need to live a yogic lifestyle. And the purpose is pretty lofty. It is, as a human being, we evolved from, it's the evolutionary process. I mean, if you just plain simply dissect us, we are animals given a conscious mind. So in yogic philosophy, it says you're not human beings, you're divine beings having a human experience. So what it says is, having born as a human being, it is our swadharma, it's our righteous duty to know the highest human potential, to know who we are, what is our highest self. The purpose of life is not just about being born and then you have a good life, you grow up, hopefully you get a good education, have a loving upbringing from your parents, have a nice, decent education, build a career, find a good life partner, get married or whatnot, have children, take care of your children, then focus again on your career and then have grandkids, and then one day disappear from this planet Earth. I mean, this all sounds what we all do here, but it feels mundane from a yogic philosophy, is that this is not all that you've come for. Being born as a human being, it's your swadharma to know what is the purpose of life. Why have you come here and why do you keep coming back to this life? So what it says is, to understand the highest human potential, the swadharma, you need to first balance your 5 koshas. And I think you are familiar with 5 koshas, and most of the listeners on Savannah might be, right?
They are, but I'd love it if you'd review them with us, because I feel like they don't get talked about enough.
Yeah. So what the physical structure we have, Brett, that we see with our 2 naked eyes is called as Annamaya kosha. And in Sanskrit, Anna means food and kosha is a sheath. So what it is Annamaya kosha, this is made up of this physical structure. That body we look at is made up of food. So food is what food we eat, but it's also the food we absorb by, living in the environment, having our social circle, watching TV, getting information from media. In this era, it is all information bombarding everywhere. So it's the food that we eat and the food we consume through our mind builds this Annamaya kosha. And what I like to tell my clients on my one-on-one consultations is, give an analogy. Let's say we are wearing a nice shirt or a top, and this we can see with our naked eye. So that's the Annamaya kosha. But beneath this beautiful top or shirt you're wearing, there are 4 other layers that are invisible through our 2 eyes, physical eyes, but they can be seen through our spiritual eye, that is called as the 3rd eye, when our Ajna chakra is activated. So those 4 subtle sheaths are, after Annamaya kosha comes Pranamaya kosha. It's called as the body built with energy. And beneath the Pranamaya kosha is Manomaya kosha. It's that the sheath built with the mind, how our mind works, how is our emotional health in this life is directly connected with our Manomaya kosha. After our Manomaya kosha is Vijnanamaya kosha. That sheath is built with the wisdom body. So the more you get spiritual enlightened, you are enlightened with the wisdom you gain through meditation and contemplation, and that helps to make you understand what this life is all about. So that is the Vijnanamaya kosha. And the last sheath, which is Anandamaya kosha, meaning the bliss body, and that's kind of the door to the liberation according to yogic philosophy. So to really summarize your question, what is a yogic lifestyle? To put it very simply, and in layman terms, is to make sure we balance all these 5 sheaths, the Annamaya kosha, the Pranamaya kosha, the Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, and then the final Anandamaya kosha. So when these all 3 sheaths are balanced, we really come to a place where we can understand who we are, what is our highest human potential, or you get to know your creator. So you can interpret it in so many ways. For me, I live a spiritual lifestyle. I have my Guru Paramahansa Yogananda. But for me, spirituality has nothing to do with religion. You don't even have to say it is God. For me, spirituality, I define it in a way that makes sense to me, and that is to have a performance assessment of my ego. There's a higher self that assesses how my ego has worked every day. So at the end of the day, when I retire, I do a short meditation. But after my meditation, I kind of spend about 15 to 20 minutes to just run the day in my mind to see how did my day turn out? How did I treat people? How did I react? And what are the things to learn and what are the things not to learn? So that is also building a yogic lifestyle.
Yeah, I love what you're sharing. It's like about the awareness piece, like bringing in awareness to your daily life and activities. Before you keep going, I want to ask you some questions about the koshas, because something that students ask me all the time in trainings is, how exactly do the 5 koshas relate to the chakras, and is there a direct correlation there? I'm curious to hear what you have to share with us on that.
Yeah, thank you, Brett. You are giving me tough questions today.
I know.
But these are excellent questions. I just wasn't prepared we were going to go this deep. But thank you. But I just wanted to finish what I was saying before, and I'll come back to your question, Brett, is like those 5 koshas have to be balanced. But the first step in balancing those 5 koshas start with Annamaya kosha, the physical structure that we see with our 2 eyes, which is built with our food. So that's where I wanted to end, and then we can come back to it. Yes, the question you asked, are the 5 koshas related to chakras? What do you think, Brett? I will give an answer, but I just wanted to.
Well, when you use that word balance, like when you were saying that these koshas need to be balanced, it made me think of the chakras, right? Because I usually think of balancing the chakras. I don't think of so much as balancing the koshas, which is why it's so interesting that we get to have this conversation and you were using those words. But yes.
Exactly. I mean, you really nailed it so well. It's the word balance. To give you an answer right away, yes, it's a yes with 3, 4, 5 exclamations. Chakras and koshas are directly related, and they have to be related, because what are chakras? If you see from an yogic philosophy, if you read Vedantic texts, it says chakras are the junctions where the energy circulates. Those are junction points that we have. We've got so many chakras, but those 7 chakras are the main chakras, and I'm pretty sure all your listeners know about it. It starts from our root chakra, Muladhara chakra, then we have the Swadhisthana, the sacral chakra, then the navel chakra, the digestive chakra, Manipura, and then the love, the unconditional love chakra, the devotion chakra, Anahata, the heart chakra. Then we have the throat chakra, that is the one that helps us to communicate and, live a truthful life, is our Vishuddhi, the throat chakra. And the Ajna chakra, I just had referenced it, that is the chakra when that gets activated and balanced. It says in the Vedic text that the third eye is the one that gets opened when the wisdom chakra is activated. And the final liberation to the infinite is the Sahasrara chakra, the 1,000-petal lotus. So all these energy chakras are in our subtle bodies. See, I'm going to talk a little deeper here. I don't know, Brett, as I said, I wasn't planning on this, but your questions are so profound today. These energy centers, are you familiar with the causal body and the astral body?
A little bit. I think I know where you're going to go with us, but take us, do it.
Yeah, so these chakras that we are referencing, right, in our yoga practices, is basically those chakras are not in our physical spine, right? We have a spine, and the Western medicine has seen it. I mean, we can see it in X-rays, but we cannot see the chakras in an X-ray. But we know there are energy centers, and sometimes when you really meditate, and long-time yoga practitioners have tangibly felt the activation of those chakras. They've heard the sounds that each chakras emanate. So all these chakras are in the astral body, which is what, as I said, Annamaya kosha, this is the physical structure. And then beneath that is the astral structure. So all our organs, all our body structures have a blueprint in the ether, and that's called as the astral body. And then there's a causal body that is all mainly with energy and thought. So if you go dive deep into Vedanta, it will say the creation happened with a word. And that origin of word is called as Om, the primordial sound. With the thought, with the sound and the thought, the causal body was formed. And when the thought got manifested into matter, there was an astral matter that formed. And that astral matter then later on was converted into a gross material called this physical creation that we live in. So the chakra energies and the subtle sheets, the 5 koshas and the 7 chakras are really connected directly on the astral level. And that energy is emanated in our physical structure. When we or contemplate deeply, we feel those, because they're, end of the day, they're just energy points.
So Akshata, would it be correct to say, I don't know, but I'm curious from your perspective, that the chakras are kind of key points where of the 5 koshas, all these sheaths sort of intersect and intermingle with one another? Like they're like key intersection points where the sheaths are all kind of available to us in a potent way? I feel like I'm doing a bad job of explaining this, but do you kind of get what I'm trying to get at?
Kind of. It is hard to explain it. I mean, I kind of feel where you're going.
Because the chakras, like, they each have like a physical place in the body where they live, right? And they each have a certain sound and a certain energy and a certain, like they have a certain energetic quality. I mean, maybe it's too much of a direct correlation, but I think a lot of times students are always asking me, and I'm sure you too, it's like they want to know how these subtle body principles like fit together, but in so many ways they don't. Or maybe the answer is like they fit together in this astral level, but not really beyond that.
No, they do fit in the astral level more because they live there, is what the Vedantic texts say. That it's like everyone has a home. Like for us, we live in our own home, right? So the astral and these energies are called astral energies, and they have an astral home in the ether. But that's where we pull our energy. That's where we really, to give you an analogy, let's just say this is a story that was shared by my yoga teacher. It's like when there's advanced yoga practitioners who are very spiritually enlightened, let's say they have fallen sick and they've got some skin issues. I'm taking a real story here. One person had a really bad skin issue. I mean, it felt like eczema or psoriasis, but it was pretty bad condition. And as you know, the mainstream medical will put you on strong medications, and it really doesn't. And he was trying all natural therapies and had come to my yoga teacher, and what he said is like, the Vijnana prana was off. Now, when we are talking about 5 pranas here, there's Udan Pran, Pan Pran, that, right? Breath.
Yeah.
So, not Vijnana, I'm sorry, Vyana Pran, wrong word, sorry. Are you familiar with Vyana Pran?
Well, I'm familiar with the different types of prana, but are those part of Pranamaya Kosha or are those part of Vijnanamaya Kosha?
Yeah, they all come from Pranamaya Kosha.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, yeah.
Yeah, so there are all 5 types of pranas. So there's another prana called Vyana Prana, which is like a prana that circulates all around our body. It's like an invisible sheath that circulates all around, up and down, in all direction in our body to keep us healthy. So when a spiritually enlightened person or very advanced yoga teacher looks at it and saw the skin ailment, they said that, your Vyana Prana is imbalanced. So you need to correct it on an astral print. So what they did is they did some yogic techniques, did some spiritual technique, and corrected the Vyana Prana of that person. And in a matter of 3 weeks, that condition was completely healed. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, these are all connected. But when we have any physical manifestation of balance or imbalance, that is directly connected into our astral blueprint. Our blueprint resides in the astral world. So whatever happens to us, like taking myself as an example, I had thyroid, right? Hypothyroidism. So my thyroid gland, the Vishuddhi, when I was practicing throat meditation and, trying to regulate the thyroid gland by chanting the Bij mantra for the Vishuddhi, my teacher used to always say, you have to correct the blueprint of your Vishuddhi, and the physical throat, the thyroid gland will start showing signs of healing. So they are connected, but this is kind of deep to understand. But what it is, the key to our health, key to even getting imbalanced lies in the astral chakras and in the koshas. That can give an answer.
Yeah, I know. I think what so many people listening are probably wondering is like, well, how do we correct the astral components? Because they're not, they seem so far away. They seem so intangible. Is it the kind of thing where you really do have to work with an energy healer or work with a teacher, or is it something that we can try to do ourselves?
We can do do it ourselves. And that's why I always tell my clients when they do consultations with me is like, when you have been doing yoga practice for a while, but still experience some health issues that are happening in your Manipura chakra, the solar plexus, where you have digestive issues, or you have hormone imbalance that is kind of directly related to our Swadhisthana chakra, the sacral chakra, where our sex organs reside. All these imbalances are reflected in the blueprint, but there is a secret way. I mean, it's not secret, but there is a really tangible way to correct it. And that, I always say, the answer lies in the sister science of yoga, Ayurveda. Getting Ayurveda into your life as you practice yoga, you can start correcting those imbalances that happen in our body. Our Annamaya kosha is the one that suffers the imbalance. Yoga is about, my teacher always says, yoga is about self-realization and Ayurveda is about self-healing. So what he says is, first heal your body and mind, make it able, when you go to the yoga mat, you go with the right mindset, you go with the healthy body, and then the real yoga starts to happen, or you can fully reap the benefits of yoga. He always says it's like icing on the cake if you start doing Ayurveda. I mean, yoga works, but if you really want to fully reap the benefits of yoga, try Ayurveda. You will be a totally different new person.
Yeah, and I think people understand this idea of balancing the chakras, and we've had a lot of episodes on that. But this idea of balancing the koshas is more subtle. And I think what you're saying is that Ayurveda is really the first step because, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm imagining Annamaya kosha healing the body is going to have a positive ripple effect on all the other koshas, right? Like your Pranamaya kosha is not going to be good. Your energy is going to be lethargic and terrible if you're eating like disgusting food. And then your Manomaya kosha, your thoughts are going to be also slow and lethargic, and your Vijnanamaya kosha, your wisdom will not be strong, and you're not going to be in touch with your Anandamaya kosha, your bliss body. So it really does all kind of start with Annamaya kosha, your physical body, and taking care of your physical body. And how do we take care of our physical body beyond yoga? Well, it's like what we eat and how much we sleep, right?
Exactly, and that's called, you really brought a very good point. What eat and what you sleep, and that that translates to circadian rhythm for me. Most people are familiar with circadian rhythm, right? It's the daylight and the night time of our daily 24-hour cycle. I mean, we have an internal clock. People say it as a biological clock, but our body and mind runs with that circadian rhythm. And if we don't follow that circadian rhythm, is leading to imbalance, is what Ayurveda tells us. So yeah, Brett, you're absolutely right. The first step is to start balancing the Annamaya kosha for the 4 sheets to start working their magic on the Annamaya kosha, because we don't know, we don't even feel Pranamaya kosha or the Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, and Anandamaya kosha is far-fetched to all of us. But we just read it, and it's more of an experience reading it rather than having a self-experience about. So the first step is to really start balancing the Annamaya kosha. And according to Ayurveda, those 3 base chakras that we have in our 7 chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra, those 3 chakras are called as the base chakras. It's like the gross chakras that really take care of this Annamaya kosha, the physical structure of our being. And this heart chakra kind of is in the center, right? We all know it is like acts as a midpoint between the subtle chakras, which are above the heart chakra, and the gross chakras are below the heart chakra. The chakras that are above the heart chakra are Vishuddhi, or Ajna chakra, and Sahasrara chakra. Those 3 chakras really get balanced with yogic practice, So what Ayurveda and Vedanta tell us is like, first balance the gross chakras, those 3 base chakras, and those are best balanced with Ayurveda and yoga. So yoga does help us to balance our root chakra. I just did a webinar last month on your root chakra, and there are many asanas, there are breathing techniques, there are bij mantras for the chakra you can recite. They all help to balance it. But if you bring the component of Ayurveda into your yoga practice to balance these 3 chakras, you will reap the benefits like 20, 50, even almost miraculous. Like people have healed themselves, like myself, taking myself as an example, I healed my hypothyroidism without any medication or hormones, but just diving into an Ayurvedic diet, eating exactly to my body constitution, what I should eat so that I could help regulate my thyroid gland, and also practiced yoga asanas diligently. So yoga and Ayurveda really helped me to heal my own imbalance. So to really live a yogic lifestyle, the very first question you posed to me, we can live a yogic lifestyle only when we have a healthy body and mind. Don't you not agree with it, Brett? Let's say you have some major health issue, some mental trauma that is running behind your mind. How can you live a yogic lifestyle? You need to have at least a basic healthy body and a fairly decent mind to even explore what is beyond what we see through our 2 eyes, right? That is the first step, is balance your body, mind, to get an opportunity to know what else is there for you.
Yeah. And I think this is a great time to tell folks about what you have coming up in Rishikesh, because I know so many yoga teachers, myself included, it's like we have people come to us and they have injuries and they have ailments and they're so eager for yoga to help them. But sometimes their physical body is just in such, rough shape that there's so many asanas that maybe aren't even available to them, or they're not even able to sit still to experience meditation. And I think this is where the Ayurvedic component can really be transformative for people. So I know you're working on some courses and initiatives to help yoga teachers be able to bring Ayurveda more into the yoga classroom and more into their students. So do you want to just tell us quickly about that?
Yes, Brett. I'm doing an Ayurveda 100-hour teacher training course in Rishikesh, India. This is going to be in March next year. The dates are March 7th to the 17th. So it's a 10-day residential course. It's a very intense course. And this is offered at my yoga teacher, Yoga Rishi Vishwaketu's ashram. So it's a beautiful ashram overlooking the Himalayan mountains. And I feel truly blessed offering this course along with him. Because as I said, he is a master and as yoga teacher, learned from an authentic lineage of yoga, Hatha yoga teachers in India, truly lives a very spiritual lifestyle and a spiritually advanced being. So I feel I'm really humbled, and it's a huge blessing to offer this course along with him. So this will give you practical application of Ayurveda. And this course is mainly designed for yoga teachers who want to teach to their students the Ayurveda component along with yoga. So as we talked, like many yoga teachers who've been practicing yoga for 20, 30 years, still experience some health issues. And bringing Ayurveda as a component with yoga, they can see tangible results of healing themselves from these imbalances and disorders by just making food as medicine and eating it to their body constitution, or dosha, which is called in Ayurveda. And also, how do you tailor the yoga to your students' constitution? So again, according to Vedanta, if you bring Ayurveda component to yoga teaching, it says one size yoga doesn't fit all. You have to tailor it according to their body type, their body constitution. And also you have to tailor your yoga asanas if they're having some major health challenges. So yoga can bring side effects, like it may not be beneficial all the time if you don't know how to practice it in the right way. And especially if there is some imbalance happening in your students, it might aggravate in certain situation doing a certain style of yoga. So this course is really tailored for yoga teachers to learn the practical application of Ayurveda and teach it to students what type of asanas to do if there's a vata imbalance, what type of asanas to do if there are some digestive disorders happening, what kind of foods to incorporate. They can even offer consultation services to their students in addition to teaching them how to practice yoga to their body type. So we dive really deep. As I said, it's an intense course. We start early morning. We do a long period of meditation, and then we start a yoga asana. We do it for like 90 minutes, a yoga practice with my yoga teacher who will teach classical Hatha Yoga. Then after that, we get into program. We learn about the history, the philosophy, the daily routine that you need to follow, understand all the doshas. Because people have read many books. Even the clients who come to me for consultations have read at least 3 to 5 Ayurveda books, and they are really impressed. But where they suffer is how to practically apply it. They say it's vague and vast at the same time, and I totally agree on it. So this course will give the practical application on how to incorporate Ayurveda in your own life as a yoga teacher, and also to give you all the tools on how to help your students and share that wisdom of Ayurveda so they can also practice yoga and incorporate Ayurveda in their daily life. And hopefully that completes it as a yogic lifestyle.
That's so exciting. I feel like I want to sign up and go. So I'll put all the links to that in the show notes down below so people can check it out and find it and get more information. And Akshata, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and answering all my really difficult, challenging questions, which I didn't even let you prepare for. So thank you. Savana listeners, let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Let me know if you enjoyed finding out more about Ayurveda with Akshata, and if you liked going into the koshas and the chakras. I know I really did. I would love to hear from you. And remember, the best way you can show your support for the show is with a rating or review here on iTunes. So take a minute to do that if you haven't done that yet. We have instructions on how to do it in the show notes below, where I'll put Akshata's bio and link as well, so you can connect with her. I'm sending you so much love and wishing you a beautiful day of yogic wisdom, wonderful, clean Ayurvedic eating and yoga. I'll connect with you in the next episode. So much love from my heart to yours. Namaste.
You've been listening to the Savana Podcast. To find out more about Savana, go to savanaspirit.com or follow Savana on Facebook at facebook.com/Savana Spirit. For daily inspiration, check out our blog at savanaeast.com. Be sure to join us next week for a new episode, and thank you for listening to the Savana Podcast.